A man can leave the same place more than once without knowing where he is going. This tale begins with a deserter on his third flight. The road ahead will not ask him to explain what he has done. It will ask whether, when leaving would be easier, he can remain. For now, he is still moving. Once, a deserter lived who had turned from his flag 3 times. He had already been punished twice for desertion, and on the third occasion he understood that capture placed him in greater danger. He chose to move only at night, sheltering in ditches or thickets during the day. Fear followed him through daylight, the prospect of being seen and seized unbroken. He moved quickly through the darkness. In the distance, a glimmer of light appeared. He paused, searching the faint outline, and considered, "I will go toward that light. Perhaps it will somehow help me out of my trouble." He reached the glow, but it revealed only an opening, just wide enough for him to crawl inside. Once he eased through, thick darkness pressed around him. There was no sense of a path forward or back. His hands traced along until he found a staircase. He climbed upward and entered a hallway. He walked for a long stretch beneath silent walls. In time, he stumbled upon a door, opened it, and stepped into a room. Pitch dark. He moved carefully, feeling his way until his hand met another door. Passing through, he entered a new room. Room followed room, 11 in all, before the 12th revealed a small, steady candle set on a table. The space was arranged, and he settled, telling himself, "Come what may, I shall make myself at home in this room." He stretched out on a couch and lay for some time, thoughts steady and unhurried. Before long, the table began to arrange itself. When the cloth was laid, plates of food appeared. "Come what may," he thought, "I am hungry." He began to eat, and ate until he was full. Afterward, he settled himself on the couch and let his thoughts settle. 3 women, dressed in black, entered the room. One found the piano and sat, hands on the keys, while the other 2 began to dance. Though weariness pressed at him, he rose when he saw them and joined their steps, unsettled by the unfamiliar company. When the music ended, the women remained nearby, their words drifting from one measured subject to the next. The talk circled until their purpose surfaced, to have him consider how the enchantment binding them might be undone. They gave him every instruction, leaving no detail uncertain. He must spend the night in a room they would show. A ghost would come with questions, who he was, how he had come, and more. He must keep silent, even under torment. If he endured, the ghost would vanish, and pain would leave with it. He agreed, saying nothing more. As the music faded, the women led him to the fateful room and left him alone. When they were gone, he undressed, bolted the door, and lay down. Rest would not come. Expectation drummed through his mind for what the night would bring. At 11, a sharp knock sounded against the door. He held still, silent and tense with his breath checked, every movement controlled by the weight of danger, resolution tight beneath uncertainty. When the knock returned, more insistent, he offered nothing in reply, not a shift or a word. On the third knock, the door flung wide. Through it strode a giant wrapped in flames, who loomed at the bedside and demanded the young man's name and purpose. Still, the young man gave only silence. The giant seized him, hurled him to the floor, and set to tormenting him. No sound escaped, not even under the punishment. When the clock struck 12, the ghost withdrew. He left a warning. "Though you wouldn't tell today, you will tomorrow, when we all 3 come." As the words receded, the door flew open and closed again, and the ghost was gone. Rising from the floor, the young man returned to his bed and drifted into sleep, untouched by harm. In the morning, the 3 ladies appeared, dressed in white up to their knees, and guided him with the sound of music to the same room he had visited before. They arranged a chair for him and set a delicious breakfast before him. He ate heartily, constant and reassured, then soon drifted into sleep and rested undisturbed until evening. When he woke, uncertain of the hour, he asked the ladies for the time. They told him it was 9 o'clock. After supper was brought to him, they led him again to the familiar room to sleep. At 11, a knock landed on the door. He stayed silent. The third time, the door flung open and 3 ghosts stepped in. The ghost from the night before asked the usual questions, but his answer had not changed. One ghost grabbed him, flinging him to a corner. Then another sent him across to a second. They tossed him between them until he slid to the wall. Blood covered him, and he could not move. The clock struck 12. The spokesman said, "Though you won't answer tonight, you will tomorrow when we all four come." The ghosts vanished, leaving the room emptied of sound. The first night had brought one tormentor. The second brought 3. His silence had ended neither trial. It had only increased what would meet him on the third. He pushed himself upright, lay back on his bed, and felt no harm. When morning came, 3 ladies arrived, dressed in white to the waist. They led him, music trailing, to the other room, where, after breakfast, he drifted into sleep again. At night, they escorted him to his chamber and left him there to sleep. He did not go to bed right away. He weighed how he might avoid the fearful torment waiting for him. He went first to the window. Beyond it, a sheer abyss enclosed by rocky cliffs held his gaze. He tried a second window. The view was grimmer still. With nowhere safe, he stacked every piece of furniture against the door. He thought that would keep his tormentors away, but soon understood it would not. Near midnight, knocking sounded at the door. He stayed silent. At the third knock, the door flew open and all the furniture shifted back to its place. The same ghost appeared, repeating his questions and demanding the young man's name and how he came there. The young man would not answer. The spokesman ordered a comrade below to bring an anvil and 4 hammers. When these arrived, one ghost built up a fire and threw the young man into it. Once he glowed with heat, they placed him on the anvil and struck him with the hammers until he lay flat as paper. He gave no sound. Through it all, he did not speak. When the set time ended, the ghosts had to leave. Before vanishing, they told him and all around him that he was blessed. The door flew open again, and the ghosts disappeared. He rose, lay on his bed, and soon fell into deep sleep. In the morning, the 3 ladies, dressed all in white, arrived to thank him for what he had done. Music followed them into the room. They invited him to choose one among them to be his wife. The youngest meant the most to him, and he said he was ready to marry her. He added, not just yet. Before settling, he wished to see something of the world. Hearing this, they gave him a ham, a wooden flask of wine, a loaf of bread, 3 dogs, and a pipe that hung on a golden chain. The dogs, they explained, would always come when called with the pipe, and if he grew tired, he needed only to rest upon one of them. He gathered the gifts and set out to see what waited beyond. He had entered the castle looking for refuge. He left it with 3 dogs, a pipe on a golden chain, and a road he had chosen for himself. He moved beneath the trees, watching the shapes ahead until the castle rose before him from among the branches. Turning from his path, he found the steps impassable, so he settled onto one of his dogs, which carried him up. At the entrance, he glanced through a window and noticed a tiger seated with his wife, her hands steadily combing his hair. Inside, the tiger stood and guided him through rooms bright with wonders. Each sight engaged him, though he marked that his dogs were kept apart by the tiger's wife. In the 4th room, he circled, attentive to each statue and painting, until a board shifted underfoot, dropping him into a cellar where darkness pressed from all sides. He searched for an exit, but a wet, weighty wind hindered him. He scraped his hand, then his foot, and thought, "You won't come safely out of this." After some time, the tiger appeared above, lowering himself by rope, butcher knife ready. The young man asked for half an hour, aiming for time to make peace, and the tiger granted it. Time slipped by, and the knife flashed, but as he stepped back, his hand met the chain holding the pipe. He blew on it. Instantly, the dogs appeared. He directed them toward the tiger, who pleaded for his life and promised that his wife would lift them out of the cellar. They rose from the cellar, but again he set the dogs on the tiger, who begged once more, promising a salve that could bind anyone to the wall until released. The young man took the salve and went on. The gifts from the castle had carried him safely out of the tiger's cellar. He continued toward the next city, with the salve added to what the road had given him. He arrived at a city dressed in mourning. Inside, he asked the reason and learned a dragon would come that day for the emperor's daughter. He laughed, then said, "That may easily be helped. Just tell the emperor I will save the princess if he agrees." His words were passed on, and the emperor welcomed him. With the hour near, he prepared. As noon struck, the dragon appeared, driving 4 horses. The young man waited. As the dragon grasped the princess's hand, he pressed the salve to the dragon's back, pinned him to the wall, and let loose his dogs. He struck the dragon with the butt of his musket until the creature weakened and begged, vowing to write an oath never to threaten the princess again. Bleeding, the dragon wrote his promise, and when it was done, vanished into the day. The emperor found himself so overtaken by happiness that for a moment he paused, uncertain. With generous steadiness in his voice, he offered the soldier his daughter's hand in marriage, or, if he preferred, half the kingdom. The young man answered quietly, declining both, and made his way back to the company of his own ladies. There, he married the youngest, and the day brimmed with festivity. As they stepped from the church and set out together for their house, a new city appeared along the roadside, vivid and sudden. The festivities gathered everyone in a bright, steady celebration. When the celebration had given every guest a share of its happiness, the road home led toward Varazdin. And there the journey comes to rest. He began in flight, moving only when darkness could hide him. He ends by refusing a princess and half a kingdom, so he can return to the promise he made before setting out. The tale does not explain the difference. It simply leaves him where he finally chose to be. At what point did his journey stop being an escape and become a choice? Leave that moment in the comments. Subscribe to the Chronicler's Tales for more traditional stories told this way. So until the next story.